Good morning, good evening, good nights. Welcome to the Dear Love Podcast. You can catch us at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Listen Notes, Google Music, Podbean, all that good stuff. You already know how this go. Let's get right into it. And when I say let's get right into it, I really mean it. Expectations. What do you expect from people that you run into on an everyday basis? Do you set your expectations too high? Do you set them too low? Are they set high on purpose because you know when they don't reach that plateau, at least you just get what you get? All of that today. Look, like now I'm talking like it's a news feed or something. Hey, all of that today. But honestly, I've been thinking a lot about what do people expect from you? And what do you expect from people? Because I think that's when we run into our problems as far as the results that we get. Because again, if your expectations is super high, then of course at the end of the day, if you don't reach that, you're going to be disappointed. But they always say shoot for the stars and reach high and things like that. And of course you're supposed to do that. Because if you reach for the stars and you end up only, getting so far, at least you can say you went as far as you could. But there is a time and there is a such thing as expecting too much from people. See, we grew up in a time where, well, at least I did. I'm 30 years old. I grew up in a time where it was like you had to be about something, and at the same time you had to really reach for those type of goals. Because man, you see so many people around you that's not doing well or not doing good. Now, that's not the typical story of, oh man, I grew up in a one-room apartment and there was 7 of us. No, but expectations, you break it down like, did your parents go to college? And if they didn't, do you think you should go? If you think about it, every parent always expect their kid to be better than them. I mean, that's just how it's supposed to be. And you're supposed to want that. You're supposed to hope that your kid can do better than you in life, because maybe then you feel like you did a great job. But what if you don't? What if that person don't reach as high as you want them to? Or they don't reach that level you need them to be at? Is it still good? Because again, if you setting the bar high, okay, if you want your kid to be the president of the United States, but then they end up being a senator, that's still pretty cool. I mean, it's not president, but you're a senator. But it's so hard because you really don't know what you want from people. And what I mean by that is, okay, you know what you would do for people and you know how hard you would go. But what happens again when they don't go as hard as you? So you go so hard in the paint where it's to the point somebody got your back 24/7. They got to have your back, right? I mean, why wouldn't they? You give everything that you have. Expectations. When you don't receive that, should you be upset? I think you should, because it's something that you're expecting. Expectations, but at the same time, you really can't fault people for not being what you want them to be. The only thing you can really do is try to come up with another plan. Try to help alternate what's kind of going on. Again, if you're dealing with your kids, you're not going to just throw your kids to the side, but you're going to do the best you can to raise them the best you can. You always hear parents say, well, when you're 18, you're getting out of my house. There's a reason for that. Parents feel like they're responsible for every breath you take, every girlfriend or boyfriend that you date, every single thing they're responsible for before you're 18, especially if you're living in a house. Now, if you're living under their roof, what do? They give you rules, right? They say, hey, be in by this time, Or if it's something you don't like, you know the famous words, if you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. So they set the rules. They set the expectations for the household. So the second that you don't meet it, they have something to say. It's kind of the same with friends, associates. I don't really like to say friends and associates. I feel like you either mess with people or you don't. I don't really like the in-between thing. I feel like you mess with people when you mess with them. You know, I might not see you every day, but I rock with you. That doesn't mean you're an associate, you know? So it's either I rock with you or I don't. I'm not going to say, oh, he cool, he kinda, whatever. No, if I mess with you, I mess with you. So again, expectations for your friends is going to be totally different maybe than a sister or a brother or a kid. So when you really break it down and you think about it, when your kid turns 18 years old, it's like an accomplishment. First of all, because most kids not even making it past 14 nowadays before they're either having a kid or doing some adult time for some crazy shit they didn't put together. But other than that, when you turn 18, it's like a relief. Like, you know what? You kind of signing your papers to be your own person. You know, even when you get a job, the parent got to consent and all of that before 18. You got to have work permits, things like that. But once you turn 18, you own your own. Every decision you make officially is your decision. You can't say my mama didn't raise me right, or mommy can't say I don't know what happened to him, or I don't know what happened to her. No, you can't. Once you reach a certain age, you got to take all of that knowledge that you had growing up. You were supposed to be a sponge for those years. Gather everything you can. That's around the time you graduating from high school, maybe going off to college, or again, whatever you want to do. So now the ball is in your court. What do you feel you should do? Expectations. I'm not saying we got to set them low now, but we ain't got to set them high either. I mean, honestly, this is a new age. So the first thing is just keeping your kid alive now. Putting them in sports. Most kids, I'm not going to say because obviously kids do it, but getting kids into sports and things like that is very important now. Why not? Why not get them into sports? Why not get them into the debate club or, you know, some type of debate team, chess club, something like that to just keep their mind occupied? Because again, we talking about expectations. I'm expecting my kid to make it to 18. I'm expecting my kid to bury me one day, not the other way around. So are we setting the ball too high? And now we're not talking about kids. We just saying in general, are we setting the ball too high? Do people feel like I'm asking too much or you're asking too much of them? When a person feel like, or when you feel like you asking too much of somebody or they not really getting it, it is what it is. It's expectations. I'm expecting you to be great. I'm expecting you to do this. If you sign to a record label, we expecting you to sell X amount of records. Can you do it? When you running a job or you running a shift, we expecting you to reach a certain number. Expectations is life. If you really think about it, that's life. So, what expectations do you have for yourself and your family and your friends? And sometimes you got to look in the mirror and admit when you're wrong and say, damn, am I setting the bar too high? Or is this really my standard? Dear Love T. Shaw, I'm out of here.